Kiddies Carnival was not $50. Kiddies Carnival is a meager $5. Right? And I'm hitting at you. Right? Yes, my very good friend. Now, Carlos, Junior Kiddies Carnival is a carnival for children. When children come to an activity, they want to partake in bouncing castles. A carnival, what we know carnival is a parade. But when they come to Victoria Park, the kids get distracted. People come with their children, so we have to have bouncing castles there. The children ask for it. And carnival is an economical activity where the people who own the bouncing castles make $1. The people who do face painting makes $1. The Calypsonian could come and do a filler, they will make $1. Carnival is about economical activities. The carnival will make money, the hotel will make money, the taxi man will make money, everybody will make money. That's what the carnival is about, economical activities. But everybody putting in their own personal feeling towards carnival. Lastly, the pan in the schools, the problem is coming from the money. We work pan in school, but we don't teach the school children. If the person come to the schools teaching pan and nobody paying them, they would not come. So we have to face reality. We are sitting down here in Kumbayana, but people need money. So high school may have pan, but they don't have nobody to teach the children. Bethel may have pan, but they don't have nobody to teach. And there's pan all over the country. A whole bunch of steel orchestras got pans last year from the past administration, but nobody's there to teach them, so the pans are just there. Hence the reason we only have 3 bands. And these 3 bands come around because 3 dedicated individuals, myself, Kessler Wilson, and Kingsley Hero Roberts, decided to stick around and teach the pan. And I teach pan without being paid. My personal contribution to society is to teach pan and start my summer program tomorrow. We get free advertisement. You understand? We need to pay the people and them to go around to teach the schools and to teach the community bands. It's money people need.
Well, they can say that in the city.
You understand? So no, this is the purpose of this gathering. To air our views. This is not a Kumbaya thing. This is to air our views and say what we feel, what we like, and what we like to see improve. That's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Calypso, in my view, is not cultural. It's historical. And until we start getting to the roots of this, we are just in this endless kind of vicious circle of not being able to escape it. And other stuff in Carnival which could develop, which are cultural, are being held back because we have to hold on to these things which really have no, anybody under 50 doesn't really care. As demonstrated by the numbers in the park each and every year. I hear the thing about radio. I had a year a couple of years ago where I said, right, I'm going to play Calypso. We don't even record Calypso. The vast majority of Calypsos don't even record it. You have to wait till 7:05.
Today, most people feel a good Calypso must be based on politics. And this is what I think is weakening Calypso by itself. Because Calypso today do not have any entertainment value. Another thing is the artist himself, as the gentleman said before, we are not pushing ourselves. We are not like the soca artists. The soca artists have value for what they are doing, and they are making demands so that they could promote themselves financially and commercially. I see, from the time I've been singing Calypso, I was never paid for performing.
Carnival, Easter, Christmas, and 4 times a year we have and for the schools for everybody to entertain part. Right now, Sahel, I was so disappointed with the day because imagine we had 5 bands, I couldn't believe it. So in order to correct this, I don't know what to call it, we have to do something about the introduction of pan in the school. Yes, they have this recorder they use, which I think it's a waste of time, but let that be their choice. Who wants to play the recorder? They play it for 2 years and they throw it in the garbage. So the best thing to do is get sign one of the pan yard where they start, sign here, get together, get all the pan size from these school get together and decide they're going to start a junior side in school. The minimum pan size, and then, for example, high school have a pan. And now we have grammar school next week. The grammar school and the high school put it together. Convent have a whole room with pans. Convent and St. Martin put join and make one.
Talking acting, man.
So at least they need to do something about it. So I won't say much to it because I just quite a few of what I had to say was said by a few of you.
I had an issue and I voiced it publicly in terms of patrons being allowed to choose which events they'd like to attend for Carnival and how long they'd like to attend those events. I had a problem with our event being shut off at 9 p.m. I think that, this is 2026. We are going to head to the park if the product is appealing. I am not in support of ending private shows to accommodate the stage shows. Not in favor of that. What I'd like to see, a reduction in import duties for those who are affiliated with Carnival. The private promoters that get knocked left, right, and center, start at about $40,000 to VAT. Look how much you're paying, like 100. Yeah, he shake his head.
My own perspective, it was clear that the attendance at the shows at the Victoria Park was certainly not bigger nor better than in previous years. So that's something we need to address, first of all. There were complaints from the floor, from people who you would have met, concerning the cost of shows. There were complaints about timing, when it started, when it finished, and so forth, and smooth flowing of the show. So that's a second area that we need to look at. Whether or not people are receiving value for their money is entirely up to the individual. If I feel satisfied what I get when I go to see the show was worth it, fine. But one has to be fully aware that we are competing no longer as we were 50 years ago with Trinidad. 50 years ago, it was St. Vincent or Trinidad when it came to Carnival. Today, it's every other island. We have to compete with Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Antigua, everybody we have to compete against. So we have to up our...
So it was easy for a mass band to go to the owners or even the government to influence the owner to say, let the mass band use that space for the period of time. Sometimes it would happen for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And mass bands would have that space. But now, spaces are becoming limited in Kingston. I must say the mass band that I've worked out with for the past couple of years, Links Mass Band, I must give commendation to District Stairs, Marlam Youth owner. He actually put aside his business because we were occupying upstairs, and that is where he wanted to put his office space. And he actually put aside his business in order to accommodate us. And I have to give him a public shout out for that. I know over the years, the CDI has been advocating for the previous government to find a space. They have allocated a space, they have taken it back, they have allocated another space, and nothing has happened. So for next year, before next year, actually this year, September, October, I don't think a mass band should be without a space. because a lot of persons don't understand the intricacies in producing a traditional mass band. Now, I might seem biased, but I'm talking about the traditional aspect of mass. The party band or the experience bands, they have their space, they have their finances, they have their ways, they have their buildings. My concern is traditional aspects of it. As of I should say the ending of Carnival 2026, there are a number of mass bands that do not have spaces. And what is going to happen, and basing this on what happens previous years, it is going to go down to March, April, in which the mass band gets space.
How can the CDC, with all of its components, compete and be on the same level to compete with these shows and have the same sort of attendance? Might not be the same sort of money. And the only how that can happen is if every single one of the components lift their game and lift their standards. We have to look at each one. Luke mentioned again Skinny. When Skinny started out, nobody didn't really know Skinny. When I was on Hot 97, hardly anybody was playing Skinny. But Skinny worked on his craft repeatedly, worked on his brand repeatedly to lift his game, to put him at a standard where now you can't not ignore Skinny Fathers. You had to pay attention to him, you had to play his music. And that made it easy now for the radio stations to gravitate to his music and start to play his music and to help his brand and push his brand. So mass, we talk about the party bands, we have our little differences about the party bands, but what is it that the party bands are doing that the traditional mass bands are not doing to generate the kind of numbers, both in attendance and figures, that they are doing?
First of all, I'd like to differ a little bit from Luke, but I want to give Lucas kudos of promoting and investing what will give him the returns that he is looking for. And you can't be upset with Luke when he does what he does best. He makes the same argument for Skinny Fabulous, because Skinny has marketed himself and made us proud as Vincentians. I travel a lot. I live half my life abroad for the last 8 years and half in Vincent. And I attend a lot of things, especially when there are Vincentians involved in that. And I have seen a lot of things. What I disagree with Luke is in St. Vincent, Calypso is dying, but not in the other islands. It's in Barbados. If you look at the Barbados Calypso finals, you will see that has nearly as much attendance in the Calypso finals as much at the soca and other countries. So it is what is happening. So let me give it preservation. What are we preserving? Preservation means that you're keeping something in this original form, whether it's music, language, food, or whatever. That's what you preserve. I believe that we should preserve Calypso and we should preserve Pan. It's part of an important thing. And if you look at UNICEF and all those people, if we could get the funding through those agencies to preserve the people who are interested in preserving, we could see a marked difference.
Still do. I don't know if they still do that. I noticed like there are a lot of combinations of different bands. I don't think the possibility exists that we could have like a festival band where you put together, the best set of musicians, to come up with a festival band. It is done in most of the other Caribbean countries that have a Calypso competition. Yeah. Thank you.
2023, when the first set of money passed, the previous government used that money to help build back the damage that was done when we had the flood in 2013, the year. And they said, give them a break. That money was supposed to be earmarked for CDC to run the festival. I don't know what happened after that. The new government come in place. All I'm hearing is money, 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 money. We need a callus over that. But in truth and in fact, that was supposed to be earmarked for CDC for the festival. Every year we are looking and people are saying we're asking for increase, but you must realize We are faced with shopping out of Trinidad, and don't tell me China, because if you come from China, you still have money to pay. It costs the bands, no matter which band, party band, traditional band, whatever, it costs us money to produce a festival. And some of us do it out of pocket because we want to see a good festival. At the end of it all, we want to see the winnings, yes. But sometimes the winnings can't even cover the cost that we did for this festival. Listening to the minister a while ago, she made me want to believe that come next year we will be running a festival without money. It is sad. Because where are we going? Sitting here talking. I came already to this and I hear the same thing and I ain't see nothing. I'm sorry for Rodney, and he knows that. But it's only Rodney. And board members need to stand up. I saw the chairman in the need to stand up. Don't sit back and do because you're put there to represent all of us. We fighting for a space. We had a home, everybody was like, oh, you didn't want it. That's not the point. The point is when they gave us down Anisvale, they had fallen rocks. We had a meeting, we had a massive earthquake, everybody ran out to the building. The meeting never went anywhere. We had so much monies in the subvention to finish the building, we don't know where it went to. The next thing we learned, standing downstairs CDC, is that Braxton took back the building. That's when we heard about it.
And so you have to understand, just like in other countries, calypso is a business. Just like our soca, see themselves as a business. That is baby to be one. Mass, for too long you've been going in chap in hand, and the other new bands that have come in now are pushing the older one aside because they have business. And Jubilee, which is the last part that I have in Greenland, because only because of the love of it that the traditional Jubilee continue with Jubilee fanatics. Before we had people from villages and streets to come out dressed in all sort of things and portray Jubilee. Elder people used to love to come to the market square, Victoria Park, to see portrayal and those sort of things. Now, the younger folks, same power and pain, and dressing up in a this king as Jews for them. We have to see this thing as a business, and we have to market it. We can't fight against each other. And I can't agree with Mr. Boeing to say that we will use for calypso. There will always be and will ever be. Soca came out of calypso. I want to be better soca person in this country. We'll be celebrating 50 years next year. It's a Californian. The Magic Poser. 50 years. And he has a number of kids on that rival anyone who is singing soca. And he can win. And he's a master Californian.
Calypso